See, had a question about some crimson clover, or someone commented about crimson clover. Had a lot of crimson clover in here, and red vetch and crimson clover and all that, and some hairy vetch, and most of it, I took it down, took it off, and then just here. This is all the biomass left from it. Ugh. Some of it went to seed, and hasn't fully formed seeds, but you know. Um, but turn it in right about the right time. So what you need to do now is just take this. It's browning out pretty good now, and you just need to take it and run it through the lawnmower a couple of times, and then we can just take all this and put it right back there and work it into that pile there. And that's good, and it'll just kind of start composting down like that. That way you can introduce a whole lot of organic matter into that pile there. And so, and that's one way to do it. If you ever have to buy topsoil for any reason, and you just never really ever have the time to move it, plant it, things like that, always plant you some kind of cover crop over top of it. And you take this stuff, and you take this organic matter here, you put it back in, and it'll be good stuff. But, that's another day's work. It took a day's work just to get that all off there. That's a lot of mass there. And as you can see here, we got a few strands of just, rye and hairy vetch. And this is actually rye grass and whatnot that have been in there. And that's fine if they grow here, because we'll just chop them in just the same. There was so much clover and stuff, it just dominated everything else, and not everything else really got a chance to grow. So if I go with vetch, I always would rather have the rye and the vetch together. But if I go with clovers, I'd almost just rather put the clovers in there by themselves, because they just really grew big and dominated everything else. So, and that's fine. It did its job. It's fixed nitrogen into the soil. Now we can break that down and turn that all back in with all these leaves and have a really good topsoil here. And I may take that and put some of that out here back on in the garden there, and some of this may stay here. I may just plant on this hill some and just let that be a garden in and of itself. And then again, this is some really good quality topsoil. It's been green manured and all that, and it could it's been worked well, and it's a good maybe worth it to sell it on Craigslist or something like that by the cubic foot or something. But I don't know, you can do that kind of thing, so but anyway, that's kind of an update on the big pile here. One of the things I'm looking toward now is switching to more of an aquaponics systems, because it's getting to a point my back is getting so weak I just can't hardly move dirt and stuff like this much anymore. And so so I may need to just I want to do something organic, but aquaponics seems to fit the bill. And I love fishing, as many of you have heard me talk every now and again. And so please forgive the wind. It's just pretty windy today, but I wanted to get some video out here, and let's just kind of walk around. As you can see, some friends came over and wanted some old college classmates of mine came over and wanted some soil, and I mixed some up for them. And that's where that little spot there comes from, digging it up. And here's some flowering hairy vetch right here. That's what the hairy vetch looks like when it flowers. It's nice, pretty purpley. Then it converts on into beans, and let's see. And so there we go there. And so what I did here over the winter was I put rye, Elbun rye, which is a cereal rye grass, which is a whole different kind of rye, clover, red clover, crimson clover, and hairy vetch, and purple top turnips, just that whole thing. That's what these little sprouts here are. Some of those purple top turnip seeds that never really sprouted. So I got several root crops in there as well. And so but like I say, the crimson clover dominated everything, and I'm finding that the crimson clover just produces more mass than everything else, and so that's fine. But so you use your cover crops based on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for mass, then you go for something like crimson clover. Oh, that poison ivy there! I want, dadgummit, not what I want. But anyway, give you a look at what that, see what that looks like. You know, and there it is there. Ideally, I would have, you know, that's all good stuff. And just needs to be run through the lawnmower and just dumped back in here with a bunch of leaves and all. And we could just compost this either separately or in the beds, or I'm just going to do it right here on this little pile. And it's good stuff. So try you some this autumn. Probably going to come out with a cover crop and green manure growers guide, a low cost, low time commitment kind of a product to show you exactly how I do these kinds of things. Let me know what you guys want to know more about cover crops and green manures, because this is my favorite stuff to do, the cover crops and stuff, because I know it's like putting money in your bank account, you know. It's just like more you know, and so that's what I like about it. So, but what kind of cover crops have you guys used, you know? Have you done much of it? Have you tried it and not had the success you thought you would, or was it more of a hassle than you thought it would be, or did you love it and or you just don't like the fact that it ties up your garden sometimes? You know, sometimes if you're wanting a lot of those cover crops and things, if you had a big pile of dirt like this, and this big pile of dirt serves as your kind of quote-unquote compost pile, and you just bury your compost in here, grow cover crop in it, and then whenever you need more soil for your garden, you just take it from here and put it out in the garden when need be. And this kind of becomes your compost pile. You know, and so that's another thought process there. What you see, you got the compost pile there, leaf mold there. So if we took that compost pile, mix it with all that leaf mold and that right there, and then turn all that in here, now this becomes the compost pile. See, and it's already mixed with everything you need to grow, so you can just take it right out of here and grow as you build new beds, things like that. And so that's a good way to go, you know. So here's some geese out there, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Check out greenhorngardening.com/claim to get your free download on the right way to make and use organic fertilizers. Part of organic fertilizers is just making your own, doing these kinds of things. Number one thing in organic gardening is to think in terms of systems. If you can just think systems and build systems and work on systems, I believe it pays off in the long run, you know. So there you go.